Hi guys, does anyone actually care what Kemi Badenoch has to say? Well, Laura Kuenssberg seemed to care, so she invited her on her show to ask her a question. And the question was, where will the 150,000 refugees, asylum seekers, immigrants go when you deport them? And unfortunately, there wasn't really much of an answer. Have a listen.
Where would you propose that 150,000 people would go? Because the original Rwanda plan was going to take perhaps 1,000 people over 5 years.
Laura,
so where would those people all go?
Not here. Not here. They do not...
Where will they go? Not here. Yeah, well, go normally means away from here. Yeah, for example, I'm going to the shop. Where are you going? Well, I'm not here. I'm going to the shop. Okay, it's like, where will they go? Not here. That's not a response, but it doesn't get much better.
Not belong here. They are committing crimes. They are hurting people. We have been trying to deport so many people and have been facing obstacles in the legal system. That's why we're leaving the ECHR. We tried to deport a Jamaican national who had committed crimes. Shabana Mahmood and Keir Starmer wrote a letter asking us not to deport him. He went on to kill someone else later. I'm tired of us asking...
Okay, they didn't ask for him not to be deported. They were asking for the government, I believe. They were saying, look, we can't deport people in general. We have to respect their human rights. Now, human rights apply to everyone, including very bad individuals. We don't pick and choose our human rights. We don't say, look, everyone has human rights apart from this individual. It doesn't work like that.
All of these irrelevant questions about where should they go, they will...
Irrelevant questions! It's like, I want to deport 150,000 people. Where? That's an irrelevant question. Don't be asking me these questions. Remember, Kemi doesn't do gaffes.
Will go back to where they should do or another country, but they should not be here. We need to look after the people in our country.
But it's not irrelevant to say where would they go. That's a fundamentally important question.
The most relevant question is should they be here? If they should not be here, then they need to be removed.
And once you have concluded
the logical conclusion
you
of
have
what
to
you are saying,
say where they would
Laura,
go.
The logical conclusion of what you're saying is that let's just give up. Oh, it's just all too difficult.
Nobody said that. The simple question was, where are you going to deport these people to? Do you have a country in mind? Like some sort of transit location? So we can't send people to Afghanistan, but we'll send them to another location until we can work out some sort of deal with the Taliban to send people to Afghanistan. Like these are simple questions to ask. Like, where are you going to send 150,000 people? It's not like, where are you going to send this individual? We're talking about 150,000 people. And she's saying, that's an irrelevant question. We need to focus on the people, on stopping people coming in. Yeah, but you're talking about deporting. Does she understand what deportation actually means? Is Kemi Badenoch, has she just given up? She's like, okay, I'm just passing the time until I'm removed from the Conservative Party, so I'm not even going to bother with responses.
This is how we've got to this mess. We cannot have this attitude anymore. That is why we have come up with a credible plan. It's not going to be easy. It's a credible plan. But it is.
The plan does not involve where you send the people. We have this credible plan to deport people. Okay, where are you going to deport the people? Stop asking these stupid questions.
Tell us credibly where they would go.
I've answered that question. No, they will go back. I have. They will go back to where they came from.
Okay, so if somebody has come from Afghanistan, are they going to go back to Afghanistan? Well, unless you have a deal with the Taliban, you can't send people back to Afghanistan. Because if you try and fly a plane full of people into Afghanistan, you know what might happen? It might get shot down. So it'd be very difficult to send people back to Afghanistan if the plane is shot down. You know, the Taliban are not like France or the French government or the Germans or the Americans or any other country around the world. They're a particular group of people, and you can't really negotiate with them, especially to send people back. But also remember, the people who are fleeing the Taliban don't want to stay there. They're generally people who disagree with the Taliban, and you want to send people back to them. Okay.
That's what they need to do. We cannot have a situation where we can't deport people and say, well, we don't know where they go, so they can just stay here.
It doesn't work like that. Like, you can't deport people to a country that will not accept them. Why is this so difficult for Kemi Badenoch to understand? If the country says no, then what do? You have to hold on to them. Now, as I said, there might be a transit country where you could send them to, but you need to have an agreement with that country as well. And I don't see anything in her plan. Her plan plan means nothing.
That is basically inviting every single person across the world to our shores because we don't know where they would go afterwards.
So you think
this is a fatalistic and defeatist attitude,
so you think,
and I will not have that. We need to have stronger borders, and the Conservative Party has come up with a plan to do that. It is not just that 150,000. It is about banning asylum claims for people who've arrived here illegally. It is about...
But they haven't arrived illegally. It's not illegal to arrive and claim asylum. It's not illegal. So how can you ban, you'd have to ban everyone then. Because most people, or pretty much everyone, unless she's talking about safe routes, but I don't think she's talking about safe routes.
Making sure that we leave the ECHR. It is about the return scheme with visa sanctions. There's so much in there.
Okay, so this visa sanctions that we've heard before is just about what we're going to do is we're going to punish countries that we're working with if they don't take people back. So what we're going to do is punish them by cancelling their visas. Okay, how do you think the countries will respond? It's not just they go, oh, I'm sorry, Kemi Badenoch, Prime Minister, we'll now take people back who we don't want because you're punishing us with visa restrictions. Well, then we'll just do our business somewhere else. It's like, we're going to close ourselves off. Once again, she's a Brexiteer, remember? So it's about turning Britain into the North Korea of Europe. But when it comes to visa, we're going to punish our countries that we want to send people back to. Well, then they would say, well, we're not going to take anyone back if you're going to punish us by restricting our visas. It's just counterproductive. Like, the way to deal with this is to have a good relationship with countries that you want to send people back to and facilitate that through diplomatic measures. You can't brute force it because then they will just close their border and say, we're not going to take anyone back.
Force will be funded by a lot of the money which comes from closing down asylum hotels. We need to make sure that we...
The asylum hotels that you set up in the first place? Remember, it was the Conservatives that put people in these ex-hotels housing asylum seekers in the first place because they didn't process the claims and the backlog built up and the detention centres were overflowing, so people had to be moved into other accommodation. And at the time, the Conservatives thought it was a wonderful idea moving people into ex-hotels. And now it has blown up in their face.
Stop spending billions on people who should not be here and spend the billions on removing them from our country.
Spend billions on removing them. Removing them to where? This is the fundamental problem. This whole interview, over 2 minutes long, we didn't get any answer to the question. The question was at the very beginning, where are you going to deport the people to? And she didn't have an answer. But she has a plan. So we'll have to look at the plan and see if it mentions any countries. I don't think it will, because if it mentions countries, then you'd actually have to have agreements with these countries. And I don't think there are any agreements with the Taliban just yet. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.